Alright, I'm back. So 7.3 has gone live, and with it, chat bubbles. Which is like, where is it in here? So yeah, you have to go to this chat bubble settings, enable, and then click the ones that you want. Maximum display count, display your own, all this kind of stuff. And what I've noticed is people don't seem to be talking. At least in Limsa, I haven't really seen like anybody talking. I haven't seen any chat bubbles at all. It's weird. I thought that I was gonna just be seeing people talking all over the place all the time. I don't think I've seen anybody talk. Like at all. Like at all. I guess people are just quiet. It's a shame because the first online game I ever played was RuneScape. And people talk on RuneScape all the time. You could go anywhere. You could go mine something. And people will just be like, mining levels? And then everybody talks about what their mining level is, and then you're like, nice. And I guess I always assumed that these people were standing around talking. But now I'm like, well, I don't know what these people are doing. Guess they're all just AFK. It's weird. Anyways, gotta continue our mission. Preservation, their purpose. Kind of a weird name for a quest. Wait, where does it? Oh, okay, yeah. Resolution. Zoop. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is it like, maybe you have to have maybe I'll turn this back on. See if that changes anything about seeing people chat. Hey, it's a Pluto person. I'm a Pluto person. Hello, Pluto person. Pluto's been a nice guild or free company or whatever. They chat. There's always somebody talking. Alright, preservation, their purpose. Oh, crap. Tuliolal would gladly welcome every last Alexandrian with open arms. But what of the nation the late queen was so desperate to preserve? What of that bright haven of peace and laughter? Wuklamat. I won't stand here and let her legacy be sullied any further. I will protect Alexandria. That was the promise I made her at the last. But she betrayed you, did she not? Why do you feel this obligation? I saw myself in her, I suppose. We both felt the people's joy as our own, yet alone, we lacked the strength to protect them. There is so much that I love in this world, too much for me to take in my arms and keep safe. And that made me afraid. I needed someone who shared that love and fear, so together we could do what we couldn't by ourselves. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe I just wished that we could have been friends. So when she turned to me in her final hour, desperate to safeguard Alexandria's future, I swore that I would see it done. In the end, I think you both found the friend you needed. I would be yours as well, Sveen. Whenever you fall or struggle to rise, I'll come running to the rescue, and you do the same for me. That's how we'll protect the things we love. That's how we'll protect Alexandria. You're right. I don't have to be selfish. Right, we got a bit sidetracked there. Should we probably be on our way? Do we patrol or see if Shale needs a hand? There you all are. Galulja. Ah, splendid. We were afraid we'd miss you. Alizé and the others said you were here. Good news. We finally found a chink in Calix's armor. We discovered laboratories on Everkeep's 10th level that once housed a preservation initiative. Oh, it's going to be a dungeon, isn't it? Containment Complex 1029, it's called. And it's been falsely registered as a distribution center. In reality, hasn't recorded any traffic in decades. We don't think this is where Calix is hiding as such, but it may as well contain clues that will point us to the right direction. In the right direction. I'm sorry it took so long just to get this far. If you're interested, what do you say we all go and check it out together? Thank you for all your hard work. This is a huge step forward. Heh heh. And up. We need to take the lift to get to the complex. I've cleared this expedition with the relevant authorities and have one of our people waiting to operate said lift. Let's not keep her waiting. Is this a dungeon? It's a dungeon, isn't it? It's a dungeon? No? It's not a dungeon? I bet it will be. I'm gonna walk over here, have some conversation, and then it's gonna be like, blah 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 blah, now unlocked. Huh? Oh, that's the last dungeon. Ready to go, ready to head up on up. Next stop to the 10th level. It's not a dungeon?
So this is one of Preservation's laboratories.
It's so dark I can barely see.
Just a moment. If I can reroute the power to the circuit.
Smell how stale the air is. This room hasn't been in use for many years.
It was thanks to Kryl and Galulja that we managed to locate this place.
You may remember that my earring contained the control code for the gate to the Golden City. As it was Preservation that constructed the portal, we reasoned that the code to operate it might include a signature of some sort, unique to their organization.
So I took a closer look, and a line-by-line examination yielded a string of symbols identifying the code's author. We then began accessing the nodes for every door in FFXIV, seeking out control codes which contained those same symbols. After a grueling search, we finally discovered our prize behind door number 1860, the entrance to the facility in which we now stand. I'd probably still be at it if Galulja hadn't been around to assist me.
I took breaks, but Shale never stopped working, not even once.
I can contribute precious little else, I'm afraid, but I appreciate your kind words. In any case, this next part will require your helping hands.
We need to spread out and search for something that may lead us to Calyx. We're more than happy to help, of course, but I wonder, won't he realize we've found this place?
It's highly likely, and personally I hope he does.
You all know our main objective. We're here to pick up on Calyx's trail. And I've learned of a certain device that should help us to do just that. I'll explain how as we proceed, but according to the information I was able to dredge up, the device's in question should have been installed in the director's office. Now, as for where that might be, yes, this map matches my data. This room we're in is the Researcher's Commons, located in the western side of the complex. The director's office is to the northeast of here. So, we should cut across the circular chamber in the middle, yes? Yes, we should, but unfortunately for us, the interior door is locked. We'll need a security key with the appropriate clearance to open it. Judging by the mechanism, it'll probably be a card of some kind. Can't you, work some electrope magic? I'll try my best, but this type of lock is well before my time. It may take a while to crack it. And in case I can't, you might want to look around and see if anyone left a security card behind. Considering the state of the place, it does seem like they abandoned it in some haste. I shouldn't be surprised if we found one. Very well. Let's get to searching, shall we? I expect we'll have the most luck looking where the researchers kept their personal belongings. You begin searching Containment Complex 1029. Close cooperation will be necessary to overcome the obstacles barring your path forward. Helpful hints will appear in a different color. Pay close attention to the information provided by your comrades should you find yourself unable to proceed. I wonder if this is when we look in a locker. Well, I guess I'll just look at some stuff, huh? Appears to be the only desk with drawers already open. You can tell at a glance that the desk's former owner has left some things behind. discover a card-shaped object. The electrode surface is marked with a bold level 1. Oh, could that be what we're looking for? Try it on the door and see if it opens. Well, that was easy. Scanning device. Card-shaped object you hold looks to be a similar size to the scanner panel. Hold it up to the scanner. First try. And a good thing too, I was getting nowhere with that outdated circuit. I am curious though, why would they abandon a facility like this? It was run by Director Demetrios, or so that terminal there told me. Perhaps there are more answers to be had once we venture further inside. And let's continue onwards. The door to the director's office is across the central hub. Nope. Maybe we need a different card. Yes, the scanner is demanding level 3. As much as the delay chafes me, we'll just have to come through the nearby rooms until we find it. Okay. The way this room is set up, the canister inserted into the large device looks to be a soul cell. Could this be where they conducted their experiments to create Endless? Ah, but we could probably spend days investigating this complex. Finding a way into the director's office must take precedence. Speaking of which, Ghouljaw mentioned a locker over in the corner that he couldn't open. Where is he? Is this the locker I've heard so much about? The locker door is shut tight, but the number pad suggests that inputting the correct combination will open it. You have yet to uncover any potential combinations. Perhaps speaking with your comrades will help. Okay. Today I began my employment at Preservation. The organization was unfamiliar to me, but when the recruitment letter arrived, I had a gut feeling that this work would be far more fulfilling than any unorthodox medical practice. My instincts were correct. Master Calix's philosophy is the refined ideal of notions I've only ever vaguely entertained. That mankind must evolve beyond the shackles of its flesh and blood existence. I had a meeting with Director Demetrius today. I've heard others praise his ingenious intellect, yet he seems but a guttered candle in comparison to Master Calix's blinding brilliance. This morning I was permitted to access the top floor and observe the workings of living memory. As predicted, the shortage of aether required to sustain the Endless is reaching critical levels, yet Queen Sphene insists on continuing her ineffectual flailing. Our Milaya colleagues, including the Proto-Lab Chief, have been behaving in a decidedly suspicious manner of late. Should I report my concerns to the director? From tomorrow, I have been assigned to assist with the research project in the Deutera Lab. We are scheduled to conduct a major experiment, the details of which I have been kept ignorant. It would seem prudent to back up my memory data. Well, that didn't help. How about you, Galooly? You got any combos? Experiment 158 show a marked improvement in ether extraction rates. At last we've achieved the target value set by Calix. I'll preserve this historic number along with few remaining. Preserve the number. What was it? 158? How many numbers is this? Oh, what the hell? These aren't even... These numbers look crazy. Select the number keys on the pad and are up to 5 digits. 1, 5, 8. No? Okay. Maybe that's like half of it or something. Nothing from you. How about Wookie? Notes seem to be out research. Let's take a look. Oh, shit. 201930. 201930. Oh, crap. 201930. There's so many numbers. Submitting inference candidate 201930 to be considered for efficiency procedure review. Maximum value of 11509 recorded. Comparative study to be included. Experiment 163, new proposal produced a result of 9834. Decrease 9834? That's a lot of numbers. Is that what it is? 9834? Nine, 8, 3, 4. Nope. Wait, what about Kryl? Okay. And I guess, does Sphene have a number? No. Alright, 201930. I'll try that. 201930. Two 1930. Really? Alright, what was that first one she said? Oh no, that was the first one. Alright, 11509. 11509 9834. 11509 9834. 11509 11509 9834. Oh, that was it. Locker pops open. Inside you discover a level 2 security card. It's easy, you got the locker open. And you found another security card. But does it say 2? We need a 3. Yes, but it should still open more doors. Okay. Then preservation members led... These preservation members led such surprisingly normal lives. Leaving notes, losing their cards. Guess I imagine they'd be more, what's the word, bloodless? Mechanical? I didn't mean to click that soon. It would seem the researchers who agreed with Calyx and his philosophy underwent the conversion to endless entities. But I assume those who could not or would not eventually left the organization altogether. Oh, I almost forgot, the researchers kept journals in their database tablets. The one I read doesn't explain much, but something big happened in the complex, and afterward, it was decided that everyone would become endless. The writer was really happy about this. You can tell... Oh, fuck. You can tell something. The entries ended after that, but maybe you can read more. Right, let's move this investigation to another room. Well, we have the Deuter Lab and the maintenance facilities left to search. Both are accessed via the southeast corridor. So it's back to the hub and the locked door across the way. Okay. Yes, it opened. So where should we go first? Deuter Lab or facilities? Let's start with the lab. Shale. There doesn't seem to be any power here. No, none at all. It's possible the energy supply for this room is on a separate conduit, which means there should be a contingency for opening the door. Look here, there's a sign above the card scanner. In case of emergency, backup power can be rerouted from facilities. Facilities room's down the other branch of this corridor. Let's see about getting the power restored to the Deuter Lab, shall we? Engaging power supply. No good. It's returning an error. There must be a preliminary procedure. According to this error code reference, if the power supply has been interrupted for an extended period of time, then we need to reconfigure both the emergency generator and the circuit control panels. Shale? That's the emergency generator over there, isn't it? Yes. By the looks of it, it's the same model as the one used in Heritage Found. But how does it send power to the other lab? Ah, I see. The energy cable attached to the base of this terminal leads down the hall directly to the Deuter Lab, which means we need a way to connect the generator to that cable. What about these patterns on the floor? Could this be the circuit we need to reconfigure? Oh, man. So they all connect like that. I believe you have the right of it. Using the control panel set into each of the tiles, we create an unbroken path for the power to follow. What I wouldn't give for an instruction manual. Indeed, if you could look around for any written procedures, I'll keep digging through the terminal directories. Might I also ask someone to operate the generator? I can do it. I've used this type of machine before. Then would you be willing to try and reconfigure the circuit path? The rest of us can help by supplying ZZZ with whatever information might be found on the circuitry configuration. Well, it looks to me like they all need to be like this, you know? So I could probably swing this one around. Wait, what? You must arrange the 4 tile patterns in the correct positions. Access the control panel and configure the circuitry. Oh, weird. I feel like I need ones that... Cause yeah, okay, that makes sense. I bet this one's right. That's probably right. Yeah, that's probably right. Oh. It worked. We did it. The Deutero lab should now be fully powered. Well done, everybody. If I may, Shale, could we access a certain data log before moving on? I was checking the storage shelves. One of the labels caught my eye. Preservation, the Early Days is the title. Of course. It'll only take a moment to bring up the contents. Ah, looks to be a text-based account. I'll read it out. Preservation, an Alexandrian institute for technological development, was founded by Calix, an 11-year-old prodigy. Approval for establishing the organization came during Alexandra's involvement in the storm surge, with Calix's designs for new defensive solutions funded in large part by the Treasury. As the conflict grew in intensity and casualties mounted, Calix funneled Preservation's resources toward the perfection of memory storage. Research into this field continued even after the storm surge came to an end, with Calix eventually electing to preserve his own memories in a virtual domain. So this account is from before he embraced his endless existence, hundreds of years ago. I met him only once before the storm surge began. I was attending my father, who was then the reigning king of Alexandria. Calix could not have been more than 10 years of age and required constant treatment for his debilitating illness. Yet still he published theories so highly regarded that even the royal family was aware of his achievements. Life should not be lost to the injustice of death. Even now I can hear the single-minded will behind his words. So it was when war came to our kingdom, my father was quick to commit his unwavering support to the somber youth and his proposals for preservation. Several years later, the ensuing violence brought the death of both my parents. Overwhelmed as I was by my sudden succession to the throne, I suspect they spared me the reports on endless research, and other less urgent matters. So you had no way of knowing what kind of person Calix was changing into. Did he change? I wonder. Perhaps he has ever been the type to value ideals over compassion, and I failed to see it at the time. Or perhaps he did change, but it's still driven by those same deeply held beliefs, that mortality is cruel and unjust, and his role is to deliver mankind from this fate. Whatever the case may be, we cannot allow him to shape our future. Let's press on. If I've done my job correctly, the door to the Deutero lab should be accessible now. I'll give everything a once-over just to be sure. The energy current seems stable enough. Still, you should let me handle this one. The security card, if you please. Own a quick prayer that a shorted wire doesn't burn me from the inside out. And that's the quest. Preservation, their purpose. Interesting place to start the next one. A calculated evolution. Right, I'll get this door open. Maybe now it's going to be a dungeon. Phew, smooth as silk. Let's head inside and see what awaits. Gods above. Isn't that? It's a cup. That's a cup. The key to interdimensional fusion? That looks to be a schematic on the monitor. And they've used it to make another key? But isn't it missing the shard inside like the ones EZZ has? Ah, we may have been laboring under a misconception. The key was originally a relic. Once this treasure came into its possession, preservation began working to harness the power to cross dimensions. Aside from the crystal, we can see that all the vessel's components were constructed here. So what might that tell us? The crystal itself is the key? That would be the logical conclusion, yes. It is, as my parents explained. The key remains shrouded in mystery. Preservation augmented it with electrope, but never grasped the technology's underlying principles. To this day, not a single person understands the mechanics of interdimensional fusion. Not who imbued the key with its power, not when they did so, nor why. Now it makes sense. Calyx can track the key because its vessel was made by preservation. I believe there is much we may learn in this room. On our next visit, I will have to enlist Y'shtola's assistance for a thorough investigation. I too am curious about a great many things, but pinning down Calyx's whereabouts is our priority. Hopefully there's a security card here that grants access to the director's office. The research conducted in this lab appears to have been highly confidential in nature. Some of the personnel must have belonged to the organization's upper echelons, and that means higher security clearance. We should spread out and look for any cards they left behind. Remember, anything less than a 3, no good. Okay. We got a cabinet drawer, a wheeled shelving unit, a storage crate. I'm guessing cabinet drawer. You find a security guard. Oh, did you find one? Well, that's a stroke of luck. Let's have Shale examine it. Level 3. Look at that. Look at me. Look at that. Well, if it isn't exactly what we needed, nice work. Oh, level 3. That should get us into the director's office. So what was it you were hoping to find here again, Shale? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us? Right. I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep security cameras. Considering the way Calyx is always one step ahead of us, we must assume he's quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system and has been using it to monitor our activities, to monitor what you, as the keyholder, are planning. But since Calyx is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him, which is why I need the data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all this surveillance traffic, then you can pinpoint Calyx's position. That said, he has done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be on entirely the wrong track. Maybe the reason he isn't stopping us is because he can't. Back in the old castle, Calyx said he was measuring ZZ's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than her? Damn straight. Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled the surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data though, if you'd like to see it. I'll start the show then.
Are you really planning to leave?
Yes. The idea of eternal life. It's begun to frighten me. I struggle to renounce our conventional wisdom. Death is the means by which life prunes its branches, leaving the trunk to grow strong and tall. We die so that our species may flourish. What would become of mankind were we to halt that process?
What?
If unending stagnation is the fruit of our labor, then perhaps we strive for the wrong thing.
Nice hair. Nice hair, dude. Well, I don't know. I can't see a damn thing.
Your argument is a rejection of Master Calix's vision.
I suppose it is. Perhaps such dread would not plague me, were I capable of sharing his perspective on the subject. But I cannot. He and I are too different, in too many ways. I lack his extraordinary genius. I had no illness threatening to cut my life short, no singularity of will to cut away all distractions and focus solely upon research.
See, she has her own vision because she figured out how to sweep her bangs away from her eyes.
I have nothing but respect for his determination. The way he overcame his prognosis and seized the means to transcend death itself. But I'm not convinced that this obsession with living is the right path. That's why I've decided to leave preservation and put all my effort towards building a legacy for the next generation to come. Surely you...
No way.
Protocol, you understand. There can be no exceptions.
I feel like they didn't used to have blood, and now there's blood. And I think that's great. Somebody gets shot. There should be blood. She only wanted to leave, and he executed her. I checked the images against the personnel data, and the man who pulled the trigger was Director Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calix. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from the other researchers. I'm not surprised, given how my parents described their defection from the Institute. They spoke of rushing me through a portal, even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dared not ask what became of them after that. But if it turns out they were captured by their pursuers, right, the echo. Knowing you saw them as they were, your words give me great comfort. Oh, Kryl. We're not Sveen. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on. Even now, we don't know. I guess she's supposed to be British too. Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and preservation. But what we do know is that your mother and father cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure no one could cross into the source or threaten their child's safety. Right, let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion. To the director's office. You hold the level 3 security guard card up to the scanner. There we go, let's head inside. Now to find the dot relay. And don't be shy, everyone, speak up if anything odd catches your eye. ZZZ, come with me. Or I guess they would say, ZZZ, come with me. Might have need of that security. ZZZ. Damn, this terminal isn't connected to any outside networks. So it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? Sorry, ZZZ. ZZZ. Could I ask you and the others to search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? Amongst other personal effects, you find what is presumably the director's data tablet. Closed locker stands next to the table. This is the locker. The door to the locker swings open easily. Oh. It contains nothing of note. I wonder if I could... Oh, I should have taken a screenshot of that. You pick up the data tablet and begin skimming through the contents. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation conditions remains unsolved. The key triggered an explosion today. Temporary interdimensional portal verified. Continue attempts to stabilize the core's energy reactions. 13 researchers sustained fatal injuries in the explosion. Memory faculties of 4 personnel sufficiently intact for endless conversion. Remaining 9 designated for aether reclamation processing. Nothing of note. Rejected resignations of 2 Malaya researchers. Major incident. Details in full report. Those 2 inept Malaya broke with preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. The only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calyx as physical instruments to conduct his experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depths of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down. All personnel will have their bodies reduced to aether, which will be allocated for further experimentation. Memory data will be archived, and any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calyx's discretion. If he does not deem us fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I will proceed with my own corporeal dissolution. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition. Whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise, it must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calyx requires. To To that end, faculty equipment will be maintained in stasis mode. Furthermore, a critical component for secure room access will be stored separately to defend against unauthorized entry. Beverage station. Having lain dormant for years, the now active coffee maker has already entered its self-cleaning cycle. It appears to have no other purpose. Okay. Office shelves. Find a crumbled note wedged between the file binders. Secure room lift access. Requires passwords to be input simultaneously at terminals in the Protolab, the Deuterolab, and the Director's office. Perhaps this discovery would interest Shell. Well, I might as well check this last one. The collection of soul cells may have once belonged to the Director. They appear to be empty. Oh, and this one too? Oh, I get another chance? Okay. Is it gonna open? Boom. There. Have you found something? A screenshot failed. What's that all about? I know that it's... Oh, crap. If I do this... Save. Save. There we go. A thank you. A misplaced note, was it? With instruction for accessing a secure room, no less. Seems we need to enter password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There was no such room marked on the map, was there? No, a precautionary measure, no doubt. And if the passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed too. Concealed? By electrope, you mean? Ah, could this be a wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past. What, the wall? Remember what was it, like Kafka used to say, Shale? Never trust an electrope surface. You can? Truly? It never had that property in my time. ZZZ is having a little fun, I think. It's too British. What we mean is electrope can project a false appearance. Oh, come on. In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable. Boom. Another door. I've managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. Yeah, we gotta do the password thing. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input while the rest of us look for passwords here in the office. Okay. Your Proto, your Deutero. Might be better if you stayed. Your knowledge of Alexandria and his people could be needed. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that may be something I can help with. I can help too. I've lived my whole life in Alexandria, after all. Alright, you're the Deutero. Now I get to do the office. Okay. You know, there was that display plate over there. The one with the gems. I thought since it was made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. But I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. Well, looks like it's missing something. Two jewels are embedded in this electrode plate. You identify the blue one in the sapphire, and the red one is the garnet. Yeah, and there's the third slot. Why is this up again? Was there actually a jewel in here? Third time's a charm? No, I guess not. I should take a closer look at these reports. One of them might have hints about the passwords. Yeah, but... where's the fucking jewel, though? I already read all that stuff. I kept searching the drawers in the books and found a cube puzzle made of electrope. It's probably just a toy, but maybe... was that? Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Whoa. Yeah, is it a floor plan? Its place in the floor plan corresponds to the Proto Lab, the Director's Office, the Deutero Lab, Sapphire, Alexandrite, Garnet. Okay. Yes, I knew that jewel would come in handy. Let me see. This must heed the stones. This must be about the special meanings Alexandrians have for gems. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you ask Sphene, she could tell you more. I was taught that it represents the concept of protection. Incidentally, also the origin of Alexandria's name. Well, yeah, I am. Sapphire and a garnet as well, you say? Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite, as I said, is protection. Sapphire represents honesty. And garnet symbolizes devotion. Should try these words at the terminals and see if they're accepted. Serpently. Alright, let's do it. Oh, wait. What? Alright. Which one was this? Protolabs of the Sapphire. Yeah, protection's the Garnet's Deutero. Okay. Protolabs Sapphire. And she said... Oops. So this place is protection. Protolab, honesty. Other one, devotion. Protolab honesty, other one devotion. Protolab is honesty, devotion, protection. Should do it. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that worked. That secure room is the only place we've yet to search. If the data relay is anywhere, it has to be there. We'll venture in as soon as Wicklemont and Kryle rejoin us. Alright everyone, time to board the lift, see what awaits us.
This terminal doesn't look special to me, but this is definitely what we're after?
It is. But whether or not it will suffice for our purposes is another question.
The Endless are created using the memories of the deceased. But as memories are, in essence, collections of data, the resultant entities have no physical form. These data entities, as we might call them, have only two methods for interacting with the material world. One of these we saw in living memory, where the Endless are granted temporary bodies through the use of corporeal ether. They become much like solid ghosts that one can see and touch. The other method, which Kafkiwa employed, is the remote operation of a machine. But where do you suppose the Endless are to be found when not inhabiting a physical body?
The Endless are memories, and if memories are data, then...
Digimon? Digital monsters? Digimon are the champions?
Yes, we suspect they reside in a virtual domain, one contained entirely within an electrope-based machine. We've seen such a realm before, after all.
Oh, you mean like the Alexandria made from the Endless Fiend's memories? It all seems so real.
So this virtual domain, it would also be housed within the Meso terminal.
But how? I thought we shut down all the terminals in living memory.
You did. And Kafkiwa's program performed just as she intended. The Meso terminal itself was deactivated, as evidenced by the failure of the device which was keeping Spheen's body in stasis. Be that as it may, we face a master of electrope engineering. That he managed to partition and protect a sector harboring his own memories is well within the bounds of possibility.
Let us say that the Meso terminal does indeed contain a second domain, and that Calyx himself resides there. This city, on the other hand, exists here in the source. That being the case, I thought perhaps we could prevent his remote interference by closing the gate to the Golden City, and thus severing the connection between worlds.
Except I tried to close it once already when I visited living memory. The process required administrative authorization, A restriction I assumed at the time had been imposed by the Queen.
But now you think Calyx might be responsible.
Just as I suspected. Even now, security transmissions from throughout the keep are being tapped by the core system and routed elsewhere. Almost every single one has you as its focus. He's keeping track of the keyholder's movements.
Time's up. And what a waste of time it's been.
I knew he's been watching us this whole time.
Hoping to find me by tracing security data? That will not be necessary. Through a not inconsiderable effort, I've taken your measure and prepared a force sufficient to subdue you. Come. I invite you to the upper reaches of the Meso Terminal. The storage device which holds my memories is there. Break the memory bank and victory is yours. I, in turn, will seek to wrest the key from you with any and every means at my disposal.
And if we refuse this invitation?
I will wait and continue to convert Alexandrians into Endless. Consider the urgency of the situation and make the wiser choice.
Answer me one question, Calyx. The Endless Fiend. When she was queen, you had her face an impossible task, then manipulated her into using the key when she was at her most desperate. If you can do all that, then why not whisk it away when her plans went to ruin? Why let it fall into our hands?
You pour salt in the wound. That disaster was a miscalculation on my part. As her end drew near, Sphene and her restructured memories had become one with the terminal's control systems. In that singular place, in that singular moment, she wielded an authority greater than mine. Thus she was able to shield you, the neighboring sovereign to whom she entrusted her nation's future, and the hero to whom she entrusted that priceless key. I am unsure to what degree she perceived my presence, but she knew that someone was watching. Does that satisfy your curiosity?
It does. And I'm satisfied that you will take nothing more from this nation. Not one more life, not one more future, not one single smile from another child's face. You hear me? Sorry for losing my temper. But there's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx. Whatever grand future he envisions, someone will be made to pay the price. And I won't let that happen.
Let's plan our next move.
If I may, I realize it is not my place to say this. Even so, I must thank you both. On behalf of my other self, allow me to say how grateful I am to have you as our champions.
Phew. Well, that was an adventure. It may not have been by the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx and what we need to do next. Indeed. While I remain curious about Preservation's research into the key, that is an investigation for another day. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. And that is a calculated evolution. That was a big one. Oh, whoops. Anyway, I know that things didn't go to plan, but we learned a great deal about preservation. That knowledge could come in handy in the days to come. Though I may not be able to contribute much to a direct confrontation, I mean to see this through with you all, providing whatever support I can. All right. I'll do one more. One of our own. ZZZ. We've briefed Aaronville on everything that has happened and sent word to the others. We've now but to consider what our next actions will be. Calyx has offered you the opportunity to confront him directly. And though it feels much like striding face first into an ambush, we have little choice. If we are to destroy the memories he supposedly has stored in the upper reaches of the Meso Terminal, then that is where we must go. While I'm still upset at being deprived of my moment, I nevertheless did my due diligence. I can confirm that the relay we found was indeed transmitting surveillance data to a device somewhere in living memory. When you go to fight Calyx, pray let me fight alongside you. Let me fight for the memory of Otis and Zelenia, and for the other Sphene I may have become. But most importantly, for my beloved kingdom and a joyful tomorrow. Yeah, always been your fight as much as ours, if not more. Thank you for understanding what this means to me. I'll be coming with you as well. You know my reasons. Hardly needs saying, but your fellow Scions also have every intention of accompanying you into battle. So adamant were Alice and the others on this point that they have already left for living memory. I am more than ready to do the same. I'll keep patrolling the streets for signs of trouble, especially from anyone wearing neo-regulators. Should you need anything from me, I'll be on standby here in the back room. I really want to go with you too, but I know I can't. I know that sometimes you have to be patient, trust your friends. Oh, ZZZ. Kryle and I think that we should talk to Gossan before we leave for a living memory. Under Calix's direction, preservation has helped shape Alexandria's society for centuries. Taking him down will have serious consequences, and we need to warn the officials in charge about what we intend. Justifications aside, we shall be acting against the wishes of all who desire to become endless. Exactly. We don't know if Gossan will approve or oppose our chosen course. Either way, leaving without a word is the wrong thing to do. Come, we should be on our way. Resolution first, yes? Be safe, everyone. We'll see you when it's done, when it's over. We'll see you when it's over. Solution 9. That was a hefty, puzzly quest right there. I'm wondering if I switch it to party and say stuff, do I get the bubble? No, it doesn't let me. Alright, good to know. Well, there he is.
I see. A difficult situation. In the absence of an official sovereign, I agree that it is not preservation's place to dictate the future of our nation. However, I also cannot simply take a side and declare my support for your efforts to defeat Calix.
Is that because of the new regulator you wear?
I've yet to register it. I find myself caught between the fear of dying and the desire to carry out the duties of governance. My greatest concern is how we shall stem this ever-increasing terror of mortality when becoming endless is no longer an option. And that's to say nothing of the recent slaughter committed by our own soldiers. The fact that such violence was perpetrated for the very purpose of creating endless will paradoxically make it more difficult to endorse your chosen course. It may not seem logical, but for those who lost friends and family in the attacks, halting the creation process altogether would render the deaths of their loved ones utterly meaningless. Is it not cruel to rob them of what little solace they could claim, when we have only just learned what it is to mourn? Tell me, how are we meant to overcome such tragedies?
We stop begging others to teach us for a start. For the longest time, we've been protected by Queen Sphene and the systems put in place by our forebears. The hardships and responsibilities of life were distant things, and we felt entitled to our comforts, even as we barely noticed those who risked everything to keep us sheltered. But no more. From now on, we need to learn on our own. how to live with the promise of death, how to endure the pain of loss. We may never learn to love such things, but we may learn to survive them. The people beyond the barrier, even the Alexandrians of old, they've all had to live with these fears. There's no reason we can't do it too.
What are you all doing here?
Malachite called us in, and the Oblivion members briefed us on the current crisis. You don't stand idly by while your house burns down. We came together and thought about how we could help.
Long story short, we've decided to join the fight alongside Oblivion. I say fight, but we're well aware of how little use we'd be in actual combat.
A battle of ideas, on the other hand. Now that we might be qualified to do something about. We'll talk to our neighbors and do our best to quell their fears. Convince them to make the most of this life and enjoy all it has to offer. Perhaps that will help to ease your burden.
It certainly will. Even if a few are assuaged by your words, it will make things easier.
Those who have already registered will be difficult to sway, but there are still many who waver. Those are the ones we'll concentrate on.
Gossan, if you truly care for the people of Alexandria, then now's the time to start thinking of ways to prevent more deaths.
Were I to become endless at the expense of my countrymen's lives, I would regret it for the rest of my existence. Forgive my weakness. When the people have lost their way, it falls to the government to support and guide them. Alexandria can rise above this sorrow and find its way forward once more. Is that not so, Your Majesty?
Indeed it is. No, that wasn't... what I meant to say was...
Calm down, Sphene.
Lamity, you used her name.
The perfect resemblance to our beloved Queen Sphene has not escaped our notice. Yet we also understand that you are not her. Having to live in secret, unable to share who you really are, that must have been hard on you. When you come back, please tell us all about yourself. I imagine yours is a rather outlandish story, but we're eager to hear it all the same. You're one of us, an Alexandrian, and we don't abandon our own.
I promise to return. And when I do, I look forward to speaking with you all.
Wow. Well, that's good. Some of these people realize that, life, they've been living in a ridiculous comfort to not have to worry about dying or anything like that. Everyone was so warm and welcoming. Alexandrians are, as ever, a stalwart people. How glad I am to be home. Thank you, Gassan. That decision must have been difficult to make. If only I could claim the courage to do so came from within. The final push came from the Alexandria's citizens, and their bravery is taking the first step towards change. Speaking of which, can I ask you to lock that neo-regulator away, where no one can get to it? Blah, bit my tongue. That should prevent the registrations from reaching the target number. Brilliant. Should be glad to do so, but I fear it would be to no avail. According to our most recent surveys, the number of neo-regulators in circulation exceeds the stated 5,000. I surmise the surplus units are to account for those like myself who have had a change of heart or are otherwise hesitant to register. Ah, that does sound like something Calyx would do. Well, we'll have to face him either way. So no point in delaying the inevitable. On to living memory. Oh, look who it is. Aaronville, I think?
Seem
yeah.
Much the same.
So listen, you have nothing more to fear than any other normal day. Deep breaths. We'll get through this.
You'd be telling them much the same if you were here. I suppose it falls to me now.
Alright, where did it go? Huh? At the Linode Minimino. Oh, right at the, wherever the fuck this is. Okay. Where is that? The Minimino. Oh man, I haven't been here in a long time. This is like the old city, right? Man, I'm trying to remember. This is like where we had to come to fight Queen's Fiend like forever ago. Anywho. Ah, 'tis good to see our comrades hale and girded for battle. Oh, I'm hale and girded. You better believe it. As for us, we've been ahead to inspect the lay of the land. There were no changes of note, aside from with the Meso Terminal itself. Why, what's happened to the Meso Terminal? The wall is receded to provide a convenient entrance into the structure's interior. There was no such ingress when last we were here, so we must assume that Calyx has since manipulated the terminal's electrope, all to facilitate his most gracious invitation to the upper levels. An invitation I am eager to accept. For the sake of all who love Alexandria, I will not yield nor leave them to despair. Alright, let's see. Direct hit. Question mark? Why does it have a question mark? A terminal invitation. Alright. We'll pick this up on the next episode. I think it's gonna be... That's weird that it doesn't just tell you what the next one's called. Anywho, I think it's gonna be a trial, which will be fun. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'll see you on the next one. Which will probably... I bet we'll finish it next time. If I'm gonna guess. Alright. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and sub. Goodbye.